Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're all having a great start to your week. My name is Kendall Smith. He's Wes Mitchell, and this is the recruiting rundown on Gamecock Central. So excited to have you all here as we talk some South Carolina football recruiting, coming off of a massive weekend for the Gamecocks, Wes. I feel like that even might be an understatement. It was huge for South Carolina, obviously not only on the field, but off of the field as well. Lots and lots of recruits in town at Williams-Rice Stadium. Even some commits were in town as well. So kicking off the recruiting rundown, just kind of going back to last weekend, what does a win like that, an atmosphere like the one that was at Williams-Rice Stadium, do for a lot of these recruits that were in town and potentially considering South Carolina to come to school to?
Yeah, Kendall, I think you almost can't put it into words what it means to have an atmosphere like that while you win a big game. And just you could tell what this game meant to the South Carolina fan base. And I think that sort of showed in the atmosphere that they delivered. I mean, they pretty much almost willed this team to victory. And that stuff gets noticed by recruits. I mean, obviously recruits like to see you win. But this is a program we know right now is not, competing for a college football playoff this season, but prospects want to see that there's progress. And I think when you make progress on the field and you do it with a just energetic atmosphere and the kids are able to see it in person, that was a huge list of prospects that were expected visitors that they can read on GamecockCentral.com. And, I think if you're Beamer, this is kind of what you thought this program could be. Obviously, you break into the top 25. That doesn't hurt either. People are talking about the Gamecocks right now outside of just here locally. And I think that goes so far, not just with your 2023 guys, but with your 2024 and your 2025 recruits as well.
Well, South Carolina trying to round out that 2023 class as we speak. And they definitely had some guys in from the class of 2023 this past weekend. One of those being Terence Love. He's a four-star linebacker and defensive back, a big-time pickup that South Carolina is trying to get. So, Wes, I know you talk to a lot of these guys and kind of get their feedback and what the 411 is on their visit. So did you have the chance to talk to Terence about his time at South Carolina?
Yeah, Chris Clark and I actually joined forces. We were gathering information. We posted it on Gamecock Central. Chris did get some feedback from him, and he is currently an Auburn commitment, but has been open to hearing from other schools, South Carolina being one of those. He took a brief visit to Carolina this summer, followed up by being on campus Saturday for the game. Had good feedback. This is a guy I think South Carolina fans need to continue to track. Obviously, we know Auburn as a program right now is in a position where there could be a coaching change after the season, not necessarily on solid footing. And you're looking at South Carolina, if you're a prospect, you're saying, hey, this may be a program that's on the rise. So I think when South Carolina lost out on Jaden Robinson, who was committed to them as a linebacker, they kind of shifted to Terence Love. He's a guy right now, I think maybe is more of a DB, but he's kind of like Nick Emmanwori in that he could eventually grow into a linebacker. So I think he's somebody to keep an eye on. He had not really taken that hard look at the program yet until they got him on campus this past Saturday. So this is a big step. Next step would be, can you get him back for an official visit?
It's so funny. I keep looking out my window. People are probably noticing that my eyes are darting. We have like a service here right now where I live just picking up from game day. It was such a mess here after game day because all the students were so excited about South Carolina's big win. So, it was a good game day when you're still picking up 2 days after the game is over. And obviously a lot of recruits recognizing that as well. Terence Love being one of them. And then South Carolina also had Khalifa Keith, a running back, also in the class of 2023. He's committed to Kentucky. But could this be a potential flip situation for South Carolina, Wes?
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys you're going to want to keep an eye on for that very reason. His recruiting stock has kind of been on the rise. South Carolina went by his high school to visit a couple of weeks ago and really have put themselves in a position now, I think, not necessarily that you would predict a flip yet, but they're at least in the conversation. Tennessee, with all the momentum they have as a program, they're working for a flip as well. South Carolina and Tennessee have both offered recently. South Carolina has strong connections at his high school Jody Wright recruiting that area. He's got a lot of ties to Alabama. Taylor Edwards, I think, has some ties there. South Carolina's director of player personnel. So, I think this is someone Carolina's looking to maybe take a second running back in this class. Fans need to remember that name. And he's a big back. He kind of, it's an easy comparison, but he's a little bit like Chris Rodriguez, who South Carolina saw on the other side for Kentucky a few weeks ago, and someone that the Gamecocks would love to have to the fold. So I think right now they have momentum coming off of that visit. We haven't gotten a ton of feedback directly from him yet, but I can tell you the Gamecocks are starting to kind of feel pretty good about where they are right now. Still a little ways to go. But I think they're going to make a strong run at this kid and try to let him be one of those guys that helps complete this 2023 class.
It's always interesting when you get those situations where you could potentially have a player flip. Unfortunately, that has already happened for South Carolina with their 2023 class, but it's always more fun for Gamecock fans when South Carolina can flip a player from another school. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But Wes, not just the class of 2023 that was in town this weekend. You had some 2024 guys, even some 2025 guys, as crazy as that sounds. South Carolina really starting to develop this 2024 class and then starting to kick off the 2025 one too. So who are some of those names, maybe some of those younger guys that were in town this weekend that fans should know about?
Yeah, some 24, some 25, some 26s. I'm about to hurt everybody.
Don't bring out 26, please.
No.
25
Kendall,
is already enough. I can't.
There was a class of 2027 prospect on the expected visitors list. So y'all just think about that for a second.
I'm going to be 26 years old when he graduates high school.
Yes. So think about that. In all seriousness, though, if, these 2024 guys, the fans don't always maybe get into it as much yet, but quite seriously, like this is the time when you are sort of putting yourself in position for 6, 7, 8 months from now, when they're taking their final visits and they're going to figure out where they're going to officially visit, and they're formulating those like top 4s, top 5s, top 3s. This is when you're laying the foundation. So I would imagine if fans go look at that list of 2024s, there's going to be a bunch of these guys that end up coming back to South Carolina in the offseason, probably because of their experience this past week. The atmosphere, again, incredible. And I'm not even going to attempt to name them all right now because I will forget some guys. But, I would say a guy to remember, Jonathan Paylor, a big-time receiver out of North Carolina. He's someone they got in a while back. They get him back this weekend. He's somebody they really, really have, I think, identified as a major target. Heaven Brown Schuler is another one, big-time defensive lineman out of Georgia, and on and on and on. I mean, the list is pretty comprehensive. And, I think some of these guys probably will be back at future games as well. South Carolina's going to have some opportunities next week, homecoming against Missouri. The Tennessee game, if you look ahead, obviously will, I believe, attract a lot of guys too. But this is when you build that foundation. So just you can't put a price on the exposure you get by beating A&M with a great crowd this past Saturday.
Well, this is just a short little glimpse of what happened this weekend for South Carolina. If you want more, you can head over to GamecockCentral.com. Wes Mitchell and Chris Clark doing a phenomenal job over there, keeping you updated with everything you need to know in the world of recruiting. Wes, it's a busy time for South Carolina football, but it's an exciting time. The Gamecocks are officially ranked 25th in the AP poll, the first time in 4 years?
Yeah, 2018. It has been a while, and you can feel the excitement, Kendall. I'm excited. We'll have GC Lives all week long. I know you'll have a ton of video content as well. We'll have Before the Sandstorm. We're working on something maybe a little special for that. So I'm excited. Fan base excited. Let's all enjoy it.
Yep, we're excited about South Carolina football. Lots and lots to come. So keep up with us on GamecockCentral.com and follow us on all of our social medias at Gamecock Central. Wes, thank you for everything. He's Wes Mitchell. I'm Kendall Smith. This has been the Recruiting Rundown on Gamecock Central, and we will see you all super soon. Have a great Monday and a great rest of your week.